So we're going to work on Knoll Company. We're given beginning and ending balance for the 3 inventory counts, and then we're given some additional data. And they want us to compute cost per unit. So cost per unit is cost of goods made divided by units made. So we know how many units are made, but we don't have cost of goods made, so we have to build it. So let's populate our T accounts with the data that they've given. So beginning raw materials 40,000, ending 19,000. There you go. Beginning work in process, ending work in process. And there's our beginning and ending for the 3 inventory accounts. And then it gives some additional data. So depreciation, building and equipment for the factory is part of manufacturing overhead. And let's see, raw material purchases. Okay, so that's up here. Insurance on the factory is overhead. Sales salary is a non-product cost. It would go in operating expenses on the income statement, and they didn't ask for an income statement here, so we just don't need that. Repairs and maintenance on the plant, we do need that on the factory. That's overhead. Indirect labor, that's overhead as well. Direct labor 200,000. And corporate expenses are non-product, and so put that in the wrong place. Corporate expenses are operating expenses and not a product cost. So we've got to solve here for direct material used, plus this plus that, less what was left over, must be what's used. Okay, so then we know how much to put in there. Now we can calculate cost of goods made. So that's everything that was dumped in, less what's left over. Okay, and so that becomes something that increases finished goods. So now we can solve for cost of goods sold arithmetically. Now that doesn't give us cost per unit. We have to go back up here to cost of goods made, and so cost of goods made divided by the number of units made, which they told us was 4,000. So the cost per unit is $131.50. And so if we want to know how many units were sold, we take cost of goods sold and divide it by that cost per unit and see how many there was. Looks like there were 3,800 units sold. Sometimes we build cost of goods sold by knowing the units sold times the cost. Here we kind of did it backwards. We could arithmetically solve for cost of goods sold and then derive how many units must have been sold.